Season 1 will come to a close by adding one more writer, David Wise. The writer, not Rareware's music composer, obviously. Wise is a weird writer and has some interesting entries to his portfolio. He will go on to work heavily on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. However, at this point he was known for penning the Transformers episode where the Decepticons got drunk off too much energy on, and the episode where a young woman whose mere presence screws up technology falls in love with one of the Autobots. Ironically, despite his late entrance, Wise would end up writing 5 stories for Pony, tying Bloom for the most when you include the specials and movie. In fact, almost half of the episodes from when his first episode aired to the end were by him. These contributions to the show by him were infamous, I guess is the best way to describe them. His first story to air was the Revolt of Paradise Estate, which started to air at the end of the penultimate week of Season 1. It gives us a little taste of what's to come from him, for better or worse. Part 1 opens with Paradise telling a story that compels her to stamp so hard as causing drywall to fall from the ceiling. In fact, Paradise Estate isn't looking so hot at the moment as even the furniture looks like crap. Cherry Jubilee comes in and seems to be the only one taking notice of the pathetic state everything is in.
What's the story? Oh, it's about the giant that goes boom!
Apparently Paradise was supposed to be doing something about the fact that the estate's literally falling down around their ears instead of quickening the process. Cherry Jubilee tells her to get to work, but Paradise is not much of a do-it-yourselfer. Makes me wonder why they would make her fix things up aside from her name being on the estate. Actually, this episode better fits her backcard story than the events of the show. According to Paradise's backcard, she and Northstar found an old abandoned house and named it after her. This would make her having to maintain it and the estate being in such disrepair make sense, instead of it being magically conjured twice in the past year. Whatever the case, Paradise is damaging the estate more than fixing it up. This really frustrates her as she spends most of her time reading stories where these kinds of troubles don't exist. She mentions one particular where a wizard snaps his fingers to clean up a whole kingdom. Well, ponies don't have fingers, so they have to do everything the old-fashioned way. After almost face-planting off the roof, if not for the fact that she's a Pegasus, Paradise finally says screw it and takes Sweet Stuff to get some better tools like a general contractor. Paradise keeps going on about she wishes life was more like a storybook where your house doesn't start falling apart in less than a year, and she's answered by a green-skinned dude who pulls up a cart. He's got a bunch of tools, but suggests a can of magic paint he's willing to give as a free sample. Paradise is ready to take it, but Sweet Stuff isn't sure.
Haven't you ever heard the one about never look a gift pony in the mouth?
Ever heard the one about beware of green dudes bearing gifts? They take the can of paint and leave, and the green dude cackles because he's obviously not the episode's villain. They bring the paint back to the estate, and the others are naturally pissed. However, Paradise tries it, and the estate repairs itself, so it looks like the green dude was right about it. The ponies start painting to the song A Fresh Coat of Paint, but the fixtures they paint start coming to life and taking over their song. Things seem to adjust to the fixtures being alive as they start assisting the ponies in their chores, like the watering can getting his own water.
Oh, that tickles!
And getting a little too much pleasure out of it. Cuddles, in the meantime, is cuddling with her baby buggy that can now cuddle back. Kind of odd that they waited this long to advertise what playset she came with. However, things start to go downhill as the furniture gets pushy, like the kitchenware all demanding Cupcake's attention at once. The exercise equipment also seems to believe it's Gene Simmons.
Come on, go, Jubilee, go!
Paradise gets yelled at by a floorboard. Sweet Stuff says that the whole estate's like this. The whole estate agrees as they're all pissed off. Posy's shut out of her garden while Cupcake is shut in her kitchen despite being so stressed her hair turns pink. Fortunately, the slot to send out meals is open and Paradise uses it to get her out. The fixers decide to put all the ponies to work, but they can't work fast enough for them. Cherry Jubilee isn't working fast enough for the exercise equipment either and needs an extraction by Paradise too. The fixers finally say screw all of this and chase the ponies out. The chase gives us some rather funny visuals like Posy being smacked by the grandfather clock's pendulum and Sweet Stuff breaking through a window only for it to reform, though another window is smart enough to open when they throw out gingerbread. The baby buggy hasn't gone all crazy, probably because her job is sheltering a baby, which she's doing. However, all the ponies see is a fixture that could kill Cuddles in her sleep, so they drag her away kicking and screaming. The furniture finishes the eviction by the rug pulling itself out from under lickety-split and ribbon, and the gate declaring them unwelcome to set up the cliffhanger. It should be noted that this is the first Friday episode to not be a standalone since the end of Flutter Valley. Just imagine little kids thinking that this was going to be a fun little standalone episode. Well, enjoy your weekend, kids, while the ponies are homeless. Part 2 opens with Sweet Stuff saying that they should explain who's the owner and who is the owned of the fixtures. However, Cherry Jubilee says that they just get tossed out again. They should instead hunt down the peddler who gave them the pain and get him to undo what it did. Cuddles is still against leaving, but Paradise tells her to stay with them. However, this is just after putting her down and walking away. Paradise, I like you, but did you take stupid pills for this episode? First just taking a can of paint and now turning your back on a disobedient child? Well, you shouldn't be surprised that Cuddles heads back to the estate. She tries to get into the nursery, but the front door is observing a no equine policy. She instead gets in through the basement window, which apparently practices an open basement window policy. The others in the meantime start looking for the green dude.
This is where we met him. Well, he's long gone now.
A traveling peddler who travels? What a novel thought. Cuddles finds her buggy still benevolent, but the rest of the furniture isn't in a welcoming mood. They escape into the basement where they see the green dude coming. He demands that the gate let him in, but the gate thinks otherwise. The green dude responds by zapping the little life out of the gate and walking in. The ponies in the meantime don't realize that the guy is taking up residence in her old residence, so they decide to go see the mood chick for help. Maybe he still has the villain Capri. The green dude lays down the law at one point while the ponies talk to the moon chick. He hasn't heard of magic paint, so he takes a look at Paradise Estate with smoke vision. Everything in Paradise Estate is hard at work and don't look too happy about it. Beezin, the green dude, declares he's master of Paradise Estate and Sweet Stuff in Paradise recognize him. The moon chick explains Beezin is a powerful sorcerer and apparently took a liking to their home because pink is so his color. The ponies decide to exercise their powers as landladies and give Beezin the boot. The fixtures in the meantime are already sick of the new management.
Oh, I miss the ponies. They were so nice, so tidy.
Maybe you should have thought of that before you tossed them out. The fixtures sing a song about how much better things were with the ponies where... Do bronies know about this? Beezin spots the ponies and decides to use the furniture as a barricade which can actually move itself into position, and the ponies respond with a bum rush. However, the buggy carries off Beezin and Cuddles gets the fixtures to see what side their bread is buttered on and let the ponies through. Unfortunately, the ponies were in a dead run, so they crashed into a pile in a corner. The buggy throws Beezin in the basement while the ponies and fixtures form an alliance to boot the bum out. However, Beezin takes the life out of all the furniture until only the ponies remain.
There's nothing to protect you now. With one flick of my magic wand, I can snuff you out of existence.
I doubt that, otherwise you would have just come in here and gone to town instead of going through the whole Trojan paint can thing. You can probably only do things to what your paint is on, though the ponies might have some paint on them. There's a single molecule of my magic paint on the very end of one of your main hairs, therefore your ass is mine! Wah! The point is right at mood as Paradise finally has an intelligent thought this episode and dumps the paint on Beezin's wand. This brings the wand to life, and probably scars most of the little kids watching for their lives. The wand decides to take a few centuries to pin up frustration out on Beezin. God, that wand creeps me out. With everything back to normal, the ponies have to fix everything the old-fashioned way. However, Paradise has learned her lesson not to take shortcuts. So, all is well. The only one not happy about everything being normal is Cuddles, who thinks that her buggy is normal too. However, the episode closes out with the buggy singing her to sleep. David Wise definitely brought us a weird story for his introduction to the series, but it was overall enjoyable. The more notable personalities and mannerisms of the fixtures were silly beyond belief and fit them to the point of stereotypes, but it worked, and Cuddles and the buggy were also really cute together. Beezin was a bit of a featherweight of a villain when it came to presence, but he still managed to fulfill his scheme and fit with the general tone of the episode. My only real complaint was Paradise seemed overly stupid in this episode, but she was able to make up for it by turning Beezin's own pain against him. It's definitely a watchable episode. There's nothing really to write home about for good or bad about it. However, this was David Wise just getting his feet wet with the series. He makes himself at home and brings more of his particular brand of backcrap crazy to ponies next episode.